So first I'll give you very high level, okay, what is how the ODI structure, what are the ODI components, okay. Then mostly if you already know any ETL tool or any tool in data warehousing, okay, the structure of components, everything looks very similar to other things, okay. And so before start of ODI, okay, first I'll make you understand, okay, what are the various components are there and all that we'll see later, okay. So any tool, okay, which you are going to process or learn or start using, and especially in data warehousing, okay, can be classified into three parts, okay. So one is server components, okay, that is your actual engine, okay, whether it is a ODI software, whether it's Informatica software, okay. So first of all, when you install your software, okay, your server components will be installed, and that is one part. What are there, okay, how historically from ODI previous versions to current version, what are the engines are incorporated, we'll see in the once we have a complete overview. The part one is server, okay, this will be like engine for us, and specialty of ODI is compared to the other servers, so your servers in ODI are very lightweight, okay, so this can be installed on database itself. So forget, we'll go into that later, okay. And second one is repository. So again, repository, all ETL tools will have repositories, but here the repository structure is slightly different. We'll see what is that, what actually repository contains. And then the last one is a client, okay, where a developer really start using them. So this is all generally for admin part, okay, part of the architecture, and these client components are really meant for start developing. Okay, you as a ODI developer, you may get involved in the client components here. So now, what is this repository and what is the server? We'll see. Okay, right. So say for example, if you want to do any, let's say if you install Oracle database, okay, your database engine will be running. So that is the server. So in ODI server, okay, they are all your server components. So in ODI, okay, if you see the history of the ODI, so initially this ODI software was initially, it is not a new tool, okay, it was initially was with a small organization. Means this tool actually was developed by a small organization called Synopsys. Okay, and this is the first ELT tool, okay, and initially built with the concept of data processing on database, okay, and those days like our data warehousing, okay, volumes, okay, because I seen this tool in the 10 years back itself. Those days, okay, Informatica and data stage, okay, they are at basic level and then they are picking up at that time. So, but at the same time, okay, this tool was developed, okay, in a ELT approach and the ELT architecture, whereas all other tools are built on ETL approach. Okay, so those days it was not so popular. The reason was, if you see the volumes and data processing of average data warehousing in the world. So nowadays our average data warehousing size gone more than 20 terabyte. But in older days, okay, average data warehousing size, well, not older days means in 2000s and 1990s, okay, our average volumes were like less than 1 terabyte. So people, means our ETL servers used to manage effectively the volumes, but nowadays there is a lot of demand. Okay, people are trying to push more volumes and then process in a data warehousing. So that's why people started having challenges. Okay, so that is the reason even in the Informatica, data stage and all who are all working on a ETL approach, so they started introducing, okay, new concept called push-down optimization in their tools, which works like a ELT. Okay, they also realized that, okay, there is a need for ELT, means data processing on the database. That's why they already started implementing, but those tools are not 100% ELT, so you can get up to 40-50% of the ELT. Since, okay, by nature of this architecture is in ELT nature, okay, so Oracle realized that this is the best suitable tool for them, because Oracle was lagging okay, in terms of the ETL competition, because whereas IBM has a data stage and then or Informatica has Informatica and SAP, okay, bought, okay, BODS, okay, so Oracle has one small people. Why I'm telling, there is a lot of confusion for people. So there is some tool called OWB and then ODI. People think that OWB only is nothing but ODI. Okay, a lot of misconception is there. Okay, so there is ODI Informatica. If you see the couple of years back, organizations, vendors, tools. So IBM is one vendor, top vendor, and Oracle is another one, and SAP. So these are the top players in industry, especially in a data processing area. Okay, so IBM has got data stage, and Oracle has got OWB, like for last 10 years. I'm just talking here, and SAP. Okay, in SAP doesn't have any ETL tool or like in 10 years back or like in the previous veteran days. So it has only SAP BW, and Informatica has Power Center. So out of all these tools, okay, OWB is one of the very lazy tool, okay, which generally doesn't or cannot compete with any other tools. Okay, so these tools are picking a lot, okay, and they are growing in terms of all other angles we discussed, like power, metadata management, data quality, and all. That's why this was lagging actually. So that's why they bought this Synopsys and renamed this tool as Oracle Data Integrator. That is popularly known as ODI. The first release of this ODI was 10.x. Okay, so if you see ODI 10.x, generally people don't like working 10.x. Okay, and later we got ODI 11 and then we got ODI 12. So, and the post release of 10 it was 11 and then currently 12. Okay, so if you take, so first I'm talking about 10, okay, how it was there. So just to give a very high level. Okay, so ODI software, when you take the first main, when you install ODI software, okay, your ODI server will be installed. So what is ODI server in terms of software is nothing but ODI, that is called ODI agent. Okay, what it does and what are the activities of the agent we'll see soon now. Okay, so this is your actual ODI server software, or you can call it as a ODI agent. Okay, so there are multiple types of the agents also that you have to look into later. Okay, when you are learning on ODI, but this is high level ODI server is ODI agent. Okay, so this is a normal standalone. If you see ODI 10 or whatever it is, okay, it is just used to be one small process engine. That's all it used to be run. Okay, and any process if you want to do or if you want to do any activity, so you require agent and that will take care of all the activities. And other side we have another important component in ODI which is called repository. What is the repository means? Repository stores metadata. So people who are not aware of the, means who are completely new to data warehousing or ETL server, okay, for the benefit of them, what is the repository means? Repository stores metadata. What is metadata means? The data about data. So in this case, what could be metadata for us? So now you are going to develop a program, okay, and once you develop a program, you have to save it. if you type some Word document and it will ask you where do you want to save. It will go and save in a C drive, in a some drive, okay, with the extension .doc. If you write a C program, it will go and save in a .c file, okay. And if you write a Java program, it will go and store in a .java file. So every technology, every software has its own mechanism, okay, to store your code. So here also, whatever development you do in ODI, okay, and the place where it is going to be saved, and that location is called a repository. So here, every tool has its own type of repository management, okay. Example, in ODI, your code, nothing but metadata, will get saved in a database, RDBMS, okay, and you will have some tables and it will create. If you go to Informatica, even Informatica metadata also saves in a gets saved in database only. If you see data stage up to 7.x version, it used to be stored in a non-relational database, and from 8 onwards, okay, it is saving again database only. OBI repository saves in a file. So that's why repository means a place where it is going to be get saved, and you have every technology will store that in a different format. In ODI, okay, this will get saved in a RDBMS, okay. So any code which you develop will be getting saved here. That is called repository. In ODI, there are two types of repositories. So the repository is one topic, just topic. But in ODI, two types of repositories. One is called development repository. So another is called execution repository. So putting together is called repository. And even within this, okay, we have another classification, okay. One is called master okay. So high level, if you see, master repository and work repository. So what is master repository means? While creating the repository, okay, we can see practically what information is going to be there and what is going to be there, but just to make you understand high level. So this is a process, so you don't need to worry, but still we have a couple of things here, okay. So when it comes to repositories, all repository is a one terminology, okay, but so what is master repository means? Generally, master repository stores some kind of configuration information, security information that I'll go very detailed, which is common for all, okay. And work repository stores, okay, your development work. Generally, while you are developing, okay, what are the development work you do? So that is going to be get saved in work repository. And within the work repository, there are two types. One is called development and then execution. What is the development and execution? So simple example, when you write a program in Java, okay, you save the program, okay, it means whatever program you save, when you open, you can see the complete code, fine. But when you compile the Java program and once you make executable, okay, it will create, it depends on how you are working, it may create a jar file or it may create a dot class file, okay, that is the executable file. If you know Java or C++, any programming language, okay, well, first you will write a program. That program will be saved, okay, that is your actual code. Let's say 100, 200 lines of the code. That is your actual code. Once you compile your code, okay, it will create an executable file. So every software does it in a different way. Java creates a class file, and then your C++ creates some executable .exe file. Okay, depends on the software, it will do different things. In the same way, development repository in ODI will save actual code which you develop, and if you want to save only executable your code, okay, means you have completed your development, and then if you want to save the compiled code, okay, which you can just you are about to execute, okay, so all your executable code will be saved under execution repository. So while installing and when you are working on the ODI, okay, we can see detail where it will be created, how it will be created, okay, but very high level you will be keep hearing about master repository and work repository. And in the work repository, again, there are two. One is the development and execution. Okay, development will store all your program code which you actually write, and executable repository or execution repository will store only executable code. So which scenario, what type of repository will be used, we'll see later. But this is, I'm just trying to give an introduction of what are the various components we'll be keep hearing. Okay. So this repository and this ODI server, okay, will be communicating to each other in all areas. Okay, so now this is the place where your repository or data or something will be saved. Okay, and this is the place where you run that program. But now the question is how you develop your program. So in order to develop work on your software, because it just is a storage area where your code will be saved. So this will run, okay, whatever you want to run. But how can you pass an instruction to run, or how can you develop a code, how you perform administration, how can you configure all that configuration, all that will be done using a different component which is called client. So generally this is for all. So ODI Studio is the main client component in ODI. Okay, so ODI Studio means as a developer, every day you will be working on ODI Studio. So again, Studio has a designer, topology, okay, and security, and then convert. So we have different tools that we'll see later. But high level, so we have a software called ODI Studio. So when you say if you are working on ODI, okay, we need all these things. Okay, one is client components, nothing but ODI Studio, and a repository master work, and within that it can be a development or it can be execution, okay, and that we'll see later. And your ODI agent, okay, these are the major three components we have in ODI. So all this is bidirectional. From anywhere to anywhere you can communicate. This is very, just to make you technology wording of ODI to understand. Okay, ODI Studio, repository, and then ODI server. So this is a very basic architecture of ODI from the beginning. So now later on, okay, so you can say, if you ask me, a very basic architecture means when ODI is built with by Synopsys, and even when it took over by Oracle Corporation, okay, this is the architecture, means ODI 10G architecture. In other way, this is ODI 10G architecture. Okay, so what happened later? Okay, at that time when this technology was bought, okay, and this is the bare architecture. But during those days, Oracle, in their enterprise landscape, Oracle was trying to build or integrate all their products using Fusion middleware. Okay, that is the big, okay, major rollout in Oracle Corporation. So they're planning to build or bring all the Oracle products into single umbrella, okay, with Oracle Fusion. So generally that we call as a Fusion middleware products. Even that's why Even if you go and if you want to search ODI, it will be classified under Fusion middleware integration area only. Okay, so that's why in ODI 11G, so what they have planned, so they want to integrate or they want to make, okay, this software also to be part of SOA, okay, in their SOAs, service oriented architecture, okay, group, or they want to integrate this with the Oracle Fusion middleware products. Okay, that is where in the next version of ODI, which is the 11, okay, what they have done, apart from this ODI server, so they have included, they have added a new server component which was not there earlier, okay, which is a WebLogic. So when I say WebLogic, okay, and this is to help you to integrate with Fusion middleware products, okay. So from later on, from 11 onwards, okay, and your ODI product was integrated with WebLogic, okay, and because of this WebLogic integration, it was made easy to integrate your ODI product with UBIE, okay, and to integrate, okay, this with a lot of additional service-oriented components that we'll see later, because now you may not understand, okay, and a lot of other features like kind of operational reporting and all that. Maybe right now you don't know. What is the benefit of this? Okay, practically I can show you when we are learning, okay, but you can if you ask me from the architecture point of view, what is the major difference from the 10 to 11 is the introduction of WebLogic and then integration of the Fusion middleware, which was not there in the prior versions. Okay, so that's how you can see currently a new server also will be here seen, and both will work together here. Okay, so this is the 11. And in the 12, not much changes in terms of the architecture, because we already have a WebLogic integration, everything, okay, but so many additional features introduced in 12 in terms of the development point of view. Okay, so I can say the two major things in 12.x is, one is, just if you want to talk, I'll give details in the next session. Okay, 12.x is a flow-based approach, similar to Informatica. Okay, and big data integration. Okay, high level, don't need to worry about. I'm just giving how version. People who generally plan for experience claiming from the 10, 11, 12, just for the benefit of them. You don't need to go detail. I'm just showing what are. So 10 is normal architecture, repository, studio, and then ODI server, that is agent. And in 11, they introduced a new server. Okay, and in order to integrate with Oracle Fusion middleware products, okay, and Oracle WebLogic, okay, with along with the middleware, Fusion middleware introduced here, okay, and in the current 12 version, it is already there, and everything is already there, and the very important change you can see, it is a flow-based approach, which was like, if you see older ODI 10 and 11, okay, generally people will never like, people who work in Informatica and data science, generally they don't like this, because it was very, okay, it is not that user friendly, okay, and then you have to do lot of repetitive code, lot of other things. But Processing wise, it is very powerful, but the only thing is having some problems earlier in terms of the development, not that user friendly. But now those things are gone from ODI 12x onwards. And then also got integration with big data. I can go and take the data from big data using Pig and Hive. I can also load data to big data, and lot of other things are there. Major things I am talking, and a lot of other features related to this web logic, okay, in terms of the integration. So this is what. So now if you see, if you ask me architecture, this is the architecture I will tell, because ODI. Internally, lot of features are there, okay, that will expand it later, but this is the ODI.